Hey, beautiful people, it is your girl, makeup artist DeShawn Hatcher, all the way from New York. As I always say, it's Sunday. So, listen, people, right now, what I'm doing, because I'm not looking at you, so sorry. I was trying to print the questions tonight, but for some reason, it ain't coming up. So, I'm still trying to print these questions, but I just wanted to make sure. Um, Give me a second, guys. I just want to make sure that I have your questions in front of me, and now it's acting like it don't know what I'm saying. Oh, computers, don't they suck? They suck to high hell. So forgive me for doing my homework here. It's the only way I will be able to answer your questions. Okay, let's try it this way. And let me see. Sorry. Come on with this thing. Oh my God. Let's see how I can do this. Let's see. Um, no, nothing is coming up. Jesus Christ. Okay, here she goes. Okay, I'm still here. I'm still here. My questions did not come out yet. Hi, Maria Jones. Hi, everybody. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Listen, honey, Maria, that's all about you people. It's all about you being here and being supportive of this crazy black girl and her crazy channel. So I appreciate you guys. I will talk about that in a minute. I'm still still trying to get the questions to come up. So bear with my crackdom. Let me see if I can do it this way. As long as you guys can still see me, that is what matters. So let me go to here. I'm sure it's not interfering with the screen. Okay, so it's here. So I guess I'm just going to go back and forth. I guess I'm going to have to go back and forth. But you can see me, and that's all that matters. Okay, listen, people. It's Sunday at 7, and I'm here to answer your amazing makeup artist questions. So basically, what's going to happen is because this printer doesn't want to print, I'm going to go, I think you clearly can see me, but I'm going to go off screen and read the questions and then come back. So you guys know, because you're going to be like, what is she doing? Why is she reading like this? It's because the screen is going to change for me. And I am fearful of jacking this up this Sunday. So I want to make sure I get it all right. So let me say hello to everybody. Hi, Carlo. Hello, darling. Glamour by Troy. Hi, Troy. Hello. Literally just hung up my best friend when I saw you live. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I don't know how much they appreciate it, but I appreciate you being here. Okay. Layton, hi, Layton. Hi, sweetheart. So before I begin, let me say the announcement of the free inclusion palette went out last week that I told you I was going to put up this list. Well, I put up the list, I think that now 2 days ago. So there's a list of 25 people who, over the cost of time for me here doing lives, have been consistently popping up. And just so you guys understand that I literally went back to almost the very first live that I did and then kind of just started to jump around all of my lives to see if the same names would pop up, and they did. And so those are the people I am rewarding, or not even rewarding, I just want to say thank you for being here, and thank you so much for your support. And hell is the least I can do. Okay. So there's 25, or technically there's 26 people on that list. That's on the community board. I tell you all the time, go to community board. I tell you all the time. So go to the community board, see if your name is on there, follow the instructions, and then I will be in contact with you beautiful people. And again, it does not mean that some of the newer people that have joined me here can't get one either, cannot get a inclusion palette, because you can't, because I have more to give. But I just really wanted to kind of just say thank you and reward the people who've been here with me for the long haul. See, y'all are new. See, y'all didn't have to sit through all the bad reception and my mic's broken. You didn't have to sit through the real crappy stuff. You didn't have to sit through that. They did, and they were troopers. And so it's just me saying thank you. So let me see, Leighton. So make sure you go over to the community board and check that out, please. See if your name is on there, because an inclusion palette is coming your way. Hey, Miss Monique, Nubian Princess, hi. You are so welcome, honey. You are so welcome, Miss Nubian Princess. So I'm going to go and read the question right here, and then I'll come back. So let me just do it this way. Where's the questions? See, this is my life. This is my life. Like, what happened to the questions? Okay, but you guys are still here, and that's all that matters. Please tell me you're still here. They're going to have a nervous breakdown. The computer. I pray to God you guys are still here. Okay, so the first question is from Miss Monique. Okay, she says, "Hi, DeShawn. I have a question." Okay, now this is a good question. This is a foundation versus moisturizer. Voices. That's what I say. It's a So the question is: yesterday I worked on a client, and she had dry skin. So I moisturized her skin as much as I could. But I noticed that her foundation was sitting on her skin. When it was time to take her pictures, I noticed her foundation looked lighter. So I freaked out because I know I matched her foundation well. But then later on, the foundation did not look as light. So my question is, what did I do wrong? Okay, this is, yes, honey. So I know, Monique, you're here. Let me go over here. So Monique, I know you're here. So we together can dissect this thing. Okay, so let me explain really quickly the funk with moisturizer and foundations. Okay, I am, you guys know, I don't really do much with the skin in terms of, like, I don't have motions and potions. I don't have all that stuff. I have this because I use it on my skin. So this is mine, but this is Embryolisse. I've been using Embryolisse now for, I don't even know. Now I lost count. I don't know. Maybe 15 years. And I do have, I have added Rashad Terry's Global Beauty moisturizer on there as well. So I have two now. I've stepped up to two moisturizers. Stop the madness. And one has Rashad Terry's Global Beauty line has a hyaluronic acid mixture. So I have a hyaluronic acid that I drop into the mixture, and I do this, and then I put it on the skin, and it plumps up the skin. So it's really good for, I mean, to me, it's good for anybody, but normally it would be good for older ladies who need a little bit more plumping, a little bit more help, that kind of thing. Okay. So here's the funk about moisturizers, especially on somebody with dry skin. We tend to heap moisturizer on to somebody who has dry skin. It's just normal. So what you do, you're like, I'm going to get that joint, I'm going to get that face all up in there. But sometimes what happens is that we don't want to allow it to absorb into the skin. Sometimes we'll put the moisturizer on, and then sometimes we'll move on and we'll put the foundation kind of right on top of it, and everything looks good until, she gets in front of the light. That's because we did not let that moisturizer do its thing. So moisturizer is not like a quickie. That's why when I apply this stuff to a very dry person, you'll see, I did a video with my assistant Lauren, and if you notice in that video in the very beginning, you see how much Embryolisse I put on her face. I put quite a bit on her face. But the trick to something like an Embryolisse, which is more emollient, is you have to let it absorb. You have to give it time. You cannot just jump straight to foundation. So let it absorb. And then whatever that residual greasiness that you see on the face, what's happening with that is the moisturizer is saying, or the skin is saying, I have taken all the moisture I can. I ain't sucking this into my skin. It's just going to sit on top, right? And a lot of times what people tend to do is try to mush it into the skin and just keep mushing it into the skin. The skin is telling you, I can't take any more of this stuff, okay? So you have to get it off. So you take a tissue and you start blotting and blotting and blotting to get that moisture now, the excess off of that skin. So when you touch it, you should just feel beautiful, soft, well plumped up skin. But if you feel it and it's a bit tacky, then that means it really hasn't kind of gotten in there and hasn't absorbed into the skin. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is when you go into with foundation, depending on the foundation that you're using, I always say that Miron does not go very well with Embryolisse. It's one grease slick after the other. But Graftobian is not so bad with it. But again, you have to get that excess off the skin first and then apply your foundation. So I have a feeling that's what happened. And it's sort of like what my friend used to say, Kevin James Bennett. He would describe like oxidation in foundations and stuff, like give me a second. Let's say potato chips. Taking potato chips, right? Throwing them in a brown paper bag, and you shake it up, and then you start to see how the bag starts to get deeper. It's kind of sometimes what happens within the foundations. It's hitting that oil, it's hitting that moisturizer, and it's getting deeper, which is not what you wanted. Okay, so it's like, again, it's like it's oxidizing in front of you because of the moisture that you left. So the first, like I said, the most important thing is to blot the excess off the skin. Blot that joint off, then apply foundation. But again, the most important thing a makeup artist can do is touch the face. You have to touch them. I know I say I don't like touching I know I say I don't like touching people, but that is the time that I touch them. Because I normally apply Embryolisse because, I like a brush. I just like to do, I like to do a spa treatment, like with the brush. But when I'm done, I have to touch them. I have to touch to see if that has absorbed, to see anywhere else in their face. Do they need more moisture? Sometimes it'll absorb here and not here. And it depends. And so that's why that first application of that moisturizer is everything to the skin. Everything. You can add serums and motions and potions. You could do all that. But it's that moisturizer that has to get in there and do its thing. It's another reason why I don't like adding serums, motions, and potions to like layer after layer after layer, unless they're going to bed or something, because they have to get up and shoot. They have to wear this all day long. And all day long, what happens to our skin? You may have just, your client may have been dehydrated, which is different from like dry skin. I get dehydrated. I'm an oily skinned person who can be dehydrated, and I need moisture to suck it back in my skin, but I'm still oily. And so what happens when you put moisture on an oily ass like me, again, now my oil about 4 hours into, let's say, a photo shoot is going to kick in. So my oil wants to come out now, and you've already moisturized me. If you over moisturize me and then my oil kicked in, honey, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. So this is why you have to be so careful with one-stop shop stuff or putting on too much moisturizer. Okay, got it. How long should I wait before I apply a foundation after I add moisturizer? I normally sit back and I'm not like looking at them like this, but I know Embryolisse like the back of my hand. So I'm normally like apply it, then I touch. So first I apply it, then you'll see that I'll go in and do this to see if it's absorbing. And then if I feel like, ooh, you need more, then I will put more in. And when I say, ooh, when I get that feeling of, ooh, you need more, it's because that person's skin sucked it in so fast. your head spin. Like you put it on and you went like this, you sat back and you looked at them and all the moisturizer just went away. That means their skin is thirsty. They're like, give me some more moisture. So then I might apply another coat because that is a very, very thirsty skin. I would definitely wait until I know for a fact that, again, remember I just said there's that residual stuff that's going to sit on top of the skin. Don't try to rub that back in. Now it's time to not, you don't have to wipe it off, but you blot. Touch to see how your moisturizer may have left some greasiness or something. Touch it. And whenever you feel it, then you go back and you blot, right? Or you might want to, let's say, sometimes if I know I need the moisturizer to percolate a little longer, I might, start working on something else like brows or lips or something else. You know what I mean? I go off and, try to figure out what else can I do to let it sit. Or sometimes I say to the client, I'm gonna let you sit here for a minute. I might go to the bathroom and come back and let them chill. Sometimes, as much as I love Embryolisse, sometimes Embryolisse might take anywhere from 2 minutes to soak into somebody's skin, or it could take 10 minutes, or it could take 20 minutes to work on certain people's skin. So it's just a matter of monitoring the skin and making sure that remember that residual gook is gone. And then I start. So I can't tell you, well, in 2 minutes. Yeah, it depends on the person's skin and how much they have absorbed into the skin. That's the whole funk, But again, you have to touch. You have to touch. If you do not touch, you will never understand what that person needs. And it's so simple as just this. It's so simple as, is that residue on my hand? Oh, okay. I'll let her percolate for another 5 minutes. You see, I might move on to, if I'm doing hair and makeup, sometimes I'm doing both. Sometimes I just load them up, then start doing hair and keep looking in the mirror and saying, is that Embryolisse soaking into her skin? Let me see. And maybe sometimes by the time I'm done, it's all soaked in and I didn't have to do anything. But that's the funk about being a makeup artist is, it's not like those consumer commercials where it says in 2 minutes your skin will feel blah blah blah. We can't do that because we work on so many different people. So there's no timer for different people. You know what I mean? So just touch, honey. I want you to touch. Get used to touching the face. Get used to touching the face. Let me see. I forgot. I'm missing something. But I think you had another question. Let me go back to the thing and read your question. Why won't you come up? Okay. So she's freaked out because I know I masked the foundation well. But then later on, the foundation did not look as light. So my question is, what did I do wrong? And also, again, with the oxidization and with oxidization, and don't forget now, you have now, later on, you've given her a beat, you've given her a full face of makeup, correct? So now the oils are kicking in, all these things are happening. Maybe you're a little heavy-handed with the powder, and then sometimes that kind of gets a little heavier as the day will go. That's why you have to be careful of moisture content on the skin. You want to moisturize the skin, but you don't want it to be like left, because over time for us, it's just going to get, that makeup's going to get heavier looking. It might even start to break. It might start to crackle depending on how heavy you put it on. So it's like all those little things. So it's the moisturizer, yay for moisturizer, but then how much foundation should I use? How much powder should I put on? It all depends on your hands, how heavy-handed you are, and all that funky stuff. But remember, over time, you're going to have this person with you over time. The makeup is going to get heavier. It's going to get cakier the more that you keep putting stuff on. So it's interesting, but I would just say keep experimenting with different No, I'm not going to send you to the store. Experiment with what you got, okay? And then grab your mama, your sister, your best friend. Grab those people and start experimenting on them to see. Let's say if you are using Embryolisse, to see, on this oily skin person, I only needed this much, but on this dry skin person, I needed this much, and then see how fast it absorbs. The more you use something, like this I've been using forever. It's like I understand this. It's kind of like what I always say to you guys is like, you have to understand your makeup and your products. And if you don't understand it, then funkiness is going to happen. And the only way you'll understand it if you continually use it. So I'm never one to go, ooh. Most of the time I will use something for a prolonged period of time. But if I do notice that no matter what I do to whomever I'm doing it to, it's still funky, then it gets thrown in the garbage. Okay. So there you go. There's the whole moisturizer story. Okay, Monique. That was a good question too. I appreciate that. That was a very good question. So let me see. Some more. Oh, hi, Samur. Hi, DeShawn. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated. Thank you for joining my crazy behind. Thank you. Marion Howard. Hello, Marion Howard. Check the community board, please. Oh, she said, thank you so much. Don't check the community board. I see you said, thank you so much. Shanice. Hi, Shanice. Hi, honey. Inside Out. Hey, yo. Hey, Inside Out. Shanice 100. Thank you. Inside Out. Yep. Get to know your products with experience. Hello. Carlos says, for that reason and others, I often prefer wax-based foundations like RCMA and Graftobian. They tend not to change in terms of pigmentation. You are correct, sir. I agree with you. I'm not an RCMA girl. I don't like that stuff. You haven't been here long, but I really can't stand it. But if it works, but I always say for me personally as a makeup artist, I can't stand it. But if it works for you, you go and you do it. But he is 100% right. It doesn't really oxidize as much. Sometimes, I don't want to throw lines under the bus, but every now and then when you're using the Black Girl colors in Face Atelier, and then you're using like an Embryolisse or whatever, I love Face Atelier. It's in my kit, but I'm very careful with it because it can oxidize on people. Okay, it hits that moisture and it changes. Like for years, I love the stuff. I would wear it on my face, and I would turn out like it'd be 4 hours later, and I would like walk past the mirror and go whoop, and it'd be like, why is my head orange? And I'd be like, what the hell is that? And it had oxidized on me. So there's certain things that you have to be careful with that can oxidize. He's 100% correct. RCMA is it's a really great product. I just don't particularly care for it. Another one, I do believe that Cinema Secrets, I think most of the pro brands, I'm going to say most, I'm not going to say all are pretty good without oxidizing. With maybe the exception, there's a few out there that uses oil, and I cannot remember who they are, but just like a few of them who uses oil. But yes, I agree. I like the wax-based foundation far better than I like, any other thing. So yeah, I do agree with that. The wax-based is everything. Nubian Princess said, yes, I stick to what I know works. Hello, because there's nothing more disastrous than thinking you queen and king of the world. Okay, listen, I know what I'm doing. I have suffered through that. You can't tell me nothing. And then all of a sudden it goes, what just happened? What is that on her face? What is that? And then you don't know what you're doing. Then why are you acting like you know everything, DeShawn? You should have just stuck with what you know, trying to get all fancy. There was a point in time that I fell to the whole primer. I said, okay, let me try the primer thing. Let me try all these extra ingredients on the skin. I've been doing this for years, over a decade. I know what I'm doing. Doesn't matter what I put on the face. I know what I'm doing. Well, child, that was a hot ass mess. Okay, hot ass mess. And I learned my lesson. Stop trying to be cute. Stick to what you know. Just stick to what you know. It ain't cute, people. It ain't cute to have somebody all oxidized and weird looking and greasy, and stick to what you know. So let me, okay. There's so many things up. Okay, now I'm going to go to question number 2. Monique, very good question, my dear. Very good question. So now we have Cardi Black. Hello, Miss Cardi Black. Welcome, my darling. I don't remember you being here before, but you are more than welcome to be here, my dear. I like her because she got 2 questions. She came for the twofer. So Miss Cardi Black, here we go. What is your advice to prevent under eye creasing with a heavier makeup look? Many of my clients are requesting a heavier complexion. I only use concealer and powders, I think, on the under eye, but it still creases straight away. So I'm going to say that again because I feel like I read that like a cuckoo person. What is your advice? What is your advice to prevent under eye creasing with a heavier makeup look? Many of my clients are requesting a heavier complexion. I only use concealer and powder on the under eye, but it still creases straight away. I just want to make sure I read that as written and not with my commentary added to it. Hold on, let me find you. Okay, so that creasing, I tend not to go, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't go all the way up in here. I normally leave this little part. I don't know if you guys see this part right here. I try to kind of put only the littlest amount in that because that's the part that creases the most, is that area. So think of it like you're trying to, everything's like frying chicken or something. But it's like anything, like you have these little tiny fine lines. You put moisturizer, you put concealer, you put foundation. Do you know how small those lines are? And it's filling and it's filling and it's filling. Oh, and you put primer, I'm sorry, and you keep filling it and you keep filling it. And the stuff really hasn't settled yet. So you got all this gook in here, and now you want to powder. Child, that is a disaster waiting to happen. So sometimes what people tend to do with people who have like creasing underneath the eye is, I'm gonna steal from Sam Fine for a minute because I saw it on a video he was doing, and I was like, because when Sam Fine does something, I go, what did he just do? So Sam seems to have people go, because he's a beat. So he tends to have people go, he puts it on, then he has them go, and they look up like that, and it stretches this whole area. They really do. And it stretches this entire area. I'm looking down, it's hard. It's like, and they look up and they look down, and this whole area kind of stretches open. And then he takes a wedgie, and then he wedges the powder on as they're doing this thing that they're doing with the faces. And they don't stop doing that. So in other words, you don't want people to start talking and moving during the powdering process. You want a light powder in this area, and you want them to kind of, as best they can, look up, stretch, whatever stretch you stretch, and whatever you do, and then apply very light dusting just in here. And sometimes I tell people, sometimes when I'm, depending on what's going on underneath here, sometimes I will tell a client, don't move. Like, don't smile, don't talk, don't do anything. Because when you start doing that, you're creasing. It's like a creasing, right? You're making, the product is laying on the top, and then all of a sudden the person is talking and it's going like this. Now the product is going in and out, and the product is moving. And you want the product to set. And a lot of times the product isn't setting. That's why you're getting this creasing, because it's like the person's, you put the powder on and then they're talking. And then sometimes like, don't move. Just stay still. Stay still. Because I don't want the creasing to happen under your eyes. Okay? So that's the funk. That's a lot of times, as we see on YouTube, I'm not saying she's a YouTuber, but as we see on YouTube, how people take the powder and they take it and they put it all in here, and they're pressing all of this powder in here. Then they're putting a heavy, they put a heavy concealer all in here. It's too much for this eye area, and that's why it's cracking the way it is. So you have to be way more gentle in this area. You can even go down here heavy if you want, but just like right underneath the eye. You cannot do that. It just gets too heavy. Shanice is like, I'm like that. Whenever I watch Sam work, I'll be noticing. Yeah, listen, I'm such a Sam Fine person. Anybody knows me knows how much I'm like cuckoo crazy over Sam Fine. So when he does something, I'm like, what did he do? What is that? What did he just do? I'm gonna try that. What did he do? So yeah, man. But it's yes, she says yes, those facial expressions ruin everything. I just went through that with a mother of the bride yesterday. I had to say, stop talking. Yes, you have to tell them to shut the F up, okay? Stop talking, lady. Yeah, because they don't understand that makeup takes time to percolate on the face. You can't just be throwing makeup on your face and think it's fine. You have to be able to control that. And also, what I also do is I like to do that somewhat earlier, because then by the time I'm done with the makeup, they would have moved and talked and whatever. And whatever starts to come out, you just go like this. And you just gently take the residual off. You could say, look up. All I do is tell people, look up. They don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then I go, and I take off the little residual I see that might be coming out. Because remember, when people smile, depending on how, some people have, like, I don't have those things, crow's feet, and I don't have a lot of wrinkling down here. So it doesn't affect me as much. But if you have anybody who has wrinkling on the side, you have anybody who has wrinkling here, it just becomes just a mess. So they should sit still. And then when they sit still and you think it's set, and then let them start talking, because that's when you can see on the face, you're doing makeup, right? But then you see on the face, oh, this is coming up now. I see it. All you have to do is look up and right? Don't powder, don't repowder, don't do anything. Just let it sit there and then it'll work its way out. Before your session's over, all that extra residual stuff will start working its way out. I normally finally powder with a brush. Uh-oh, I had it. Crapola. Where's my brush? Oh, here it is. My dirty brush. Do you hear that singing? Do you hear singing, or am I on crack? It could be. So, so you see this brush? I really felt like y'all better call the ambulance, because I'm hearing the Lord singing. It's like, is the Lord coming to get me? I was like, oh, I'm hearing things. It's my neighbor. Oh, Lord Jesus, help me. So anyway, getting back before my crack moment, I take a brush like this. This is my brush, so it's dirty. But I take a brush like this. See this beautiful little brush, and then I take a very light powdering. I can't wait to watch the replay. Like, anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. So I take a light brush like this, or a very nice light, or like a brush like this, anything that kind of flares out a little bit. And I take the lightest amount of powder and I go bloop, 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 bloop. That's all I do. Bloop, 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 bloop. Very light. You don't need to bake under the eye. That baking stuff, the baking is for drag queens. That's not for regular women. So when you're doing these types of techniques, you have to understand where they're coming from and who is using them. And the baking is really a drag queen thing. That's not for women. That's why women are turning into drag queens. For real, like, no joke. Because the beat is so heavy, it's too much. So don't go, as for women, you don't have to go heavy in this area. Don't go heavy, because the creasing will just drive you insane. That's the problem. The creasing will drive you insane. Okay, thank you, Shanice, for hearing. Hello, Lord. Oh, only me, right? Only me. Okay, okay. Oh my God. Oh, help me, Jesus. Okay. I think Jesus was trying to help me at that moment, right? So anyway, so that is to answer the question of that heavy duty cracking that a lot of people are having. Way too much product underneath there. I tend not to use concealers. I tend to use correctors and foundation. I skip a million and two steps because I'm not doing concealers, foundation, powder. I'm not doing all that. I do two things. I do, and sometimes depending on the person's skin, whatever. Like I said, I go in there so light with powder, and it stays. Yes, Carlo. Not only for drag queens is an old school stage thing that works very well, but for stage, listen to Carlo, okay? Carlo is correct. You're right. It is a very stage thing to do. I agree with you. Very old school stage thing to do. Um, but we all know the drag queens. See, here in America, what people were doing were mimicking the drag queens here, thinking that the beat was for women and the heaviness of the makeup is for women when it's just not. It's not, and it's just cracking and it's doing these weird things. But yes, I agree with you. There's a book that I have. It's my favorite book. It's in one of my videos, Stage Makeup by Herman Bachman. There's my all-time favorite book. Um, I think it's in my very first book video that I did, and I'm wearing a blue lip to even emphasize how much I love makeup. And those techniques that you're talking about, Carlo, are in that book. But when you're doing, I think the difference is like when you are doing something like beauty makeup, beauty, straight up beauty makeup, it's really, I'm going to be generalizing when I'm talking about it for a minute because beauty makeup runs the gamut. It could be all kinds of whacked out, wackadoo things as well. But a lot of times in 2022, beauty makeup is all about good skin. It's all about, you can still give them a dope eye, you can do all these things, but it's really like getting that skin to look beautiful, flawless, but not beaten to death. That's what beauty, technically, I'm saying technically, is. And when you do so much more, it turns into like, okay, here's the difference. Here, let me give you a difference. There's beauty makeup, which is what you normally see in magazines, right? Normally, what you see on red carpet, that's beauty makeup. What you see in terms of the drag queens and YouTube would be glam makeup. Those two are not the same thing. They're very, very different. And it just depends on what you're doing. And if you're saying, well, I'm beauty, or I'm this, then beauty has to be, it's really about the skin and the accoutrement that you put on top. But it's, you know what I mean? And glam is about the beating, the slaying. We still haven't come up with a word, the glamorizing of one's face. So that's what I think is the difference. So Shanice says, I don't use concealers anymore either. And if I do, it's very little. Yeah, I tend to, you know what I have in my bag? I have concealers, but I use them for color. I use them for spot treatment color. Like I say to myself, or sometimes I use them completely for all over the face, like a foundation, because sometimes I'm like, this color looks really pretty on this person. I think I'm going to use this all over somebody's face. Give me a second. Do, 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 do. Oh, wait. Okay. Wait a minute, guys. I have to, let's see. Oh, good. I got rid of an asshole. There we go. Okay. So, Carlo, are you a fan of Shangela? No, is that how you say it? Shangela? I can't say it tonight. I know who you're talking about. Yes, I'm a fan of many drag queens. I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in the 80s, 90s. How could I not love a drag queen? They are everything. Like, and it's so funny because like I work with photographers here in upstate New York, and they shoot. Oddly enough, in upstate New York, they shoot a lot of drag queens. They shoot a lot. I don't do the makeup, but I know that I've met a couple of them, and they shoot a lot of RuPaul drag race people, and I'm like, I love you. So yes, I know many of them, my dear, many. Billy B said in his masterclass, he doesn't use concealer or corrector. I sat in on Billy B's very first masterclass, and I was like, "This, what are you doing? What are you doing?" Billy B's a master. I love Billy B so much. Thank you, Rosemary. Moderation are coming. I agree. Kenya Allen, hi, Sean. I want to purchase the Neutralizer by Joe Blaskow, but there's so many. I don't know where to begin. Any suggestions? Please, of course, because I use it. All I do, honestly, is I have red neutralizer 1 and blue neutralizer 1. I have been using those two for 20 ever since I got out of school, because school um when I went to film school, we had the most kick-ass kit. I'm telling you, my kit was amazing. It was amazing. Big testament to my teacher, Mr. Barry Berger. He made sure that we had a kick-ass kit. And inside of that kick-ass kit was Joe Blaskow, red neutralizer 1 and blue neutralizer 1. And it worked so well um, that I said, well, why would I ever, you know, do anything else? Like, so yeah, so it's just those two. Now he has others, so you can do red neutralizer 2, blue neutralizer 2 if you want to, but those are the ones that I have, and I've had them in my kit for 20 years. The other neutralizer or corrector, depending on who's using the terminology, that I have used is Derma Color. Derma Color, not Derma Blend, Derma Color. And I thought, because I don't have it here in front of me, I thought the color that I had used was number 30, 30. And that is like an orange color. And I was working on a celebrity, a dark-skinned celebrity, and she actually, I was doing something underneath her eyes one day, and she said, "Oh, I have this," and she whipped it out, and I had never seen it before, and she whipped it out, and it was orange, and I was like, oh, "This is not Joe Blaskow," and it was orange. I was like, "What is that?" And then she says, "Oh, it works wonders. My other makeup artist uses it," and I said, "Oh, I'm always down for trying anything." And I tried it, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." So I believe it's number 30 on Derma Color, not Derma Blend, Derma Color. Okay. Those are the 3 I use. And then, because I have inclusion, I use the butterscotch color in inclusion, along with burnt. I think it's called burnt orange. It's right here. I've had so much crap on this table, so I'm funny. But I believe it's. Uh-oh. I done knocked over my water. Life will go on. It's just water. Yeah, I'm right. I made the palette. I was like, it's burnt orange, right? Burnt orange and butterscotch. This is my palette. That's why it's disgusting. Hold up. So, burnt orange, butterscotch are 2 colors that you can use as a blue and brown spot corrector. I made sure of that. But listen, I'm telling you the truth. You will have to pry Joe Blaskow at my dead cold hands, because I will always use Joe Blaskow. Always. Yeah, that's always going to be my kit. It's never going to go away from my kit. I will always use Joe Blascow. But when I started using Graftobian, I had noticed for myself personally that those two colors worked wonders for me, just like underneath my eye. And then I said, oh, let me try some other spots on my face, and everything disappeared. And I didn't have to reach in to go get Joe Blascow. When I reach in for Joe Blascow, is normally for a white person who has a lot of blue, when they have like those deep, deep blue things underneath their eyes, that kind of thing. I normally reach in for that, or especially white people who have a lot of redness in their skin. I definitely reach for Joe Blascow with that red, because you use this much. Remember, it's a corrector, so it's not a foundation. You will use this much of it, and it will work wonders. You will be amazed at how well that stuff works. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I cannot be without Joe Blascow. Can't. I follow a guy on TikTok who will do his drag makeup on himself, but it turns out so beautiful. It's amazing to watch. It is amazing to watch, but it takes him 3 hours sometimes. Exactly. Drag makeup is like, that's the thing, is like, when I see YouTubers, I'm not going to say YouTubers, I know Instagrammers too, or influencers, whatever hell you want to call them, do it. They make it seem so quick, like, oh, look, it's just 4 seconds. And I'm like, no, this takes hours to put on somebody's face. This is a beating. Like, it's a lot of makeup you're putting on. It should not be rushed. The makeup, that kind of style of makeup, should never be rushed. And if you're a woman and you're doing that style of makeup to yourself and you did it under an hour, then I really, in my mind, saying that's not going to last. That's going to cake. That's going to flake. That's going to do a lot of things. It's going to do a lot of things. You ain't going to like it. You ain't going to like it. Oh, you're welcome, Miss Kenya. See, Carlo understands. Carlo gets the Joe Blascow. You get it. Me. Okay, Carlo. Joe Blascow is everything. But it's not so easy to have in Italy. Oh, the shipping costs are a little bit high sometimes. It's probably, that's a sad thing, because when you really think about it, it doesn't cost that much in the first place. And so you're probably paying more in shipping just to get it than the damn thing costs. Because the little thing here in America is like, it's, you know how big it is, Carlos. So it's like this big, I remember when I first had to buy it, because I had ran out in my school kit and I had to go purchase it. And I didn't know how much this stuff was. And they were like, at that time, we're talking like 19, 20 years ago. I went up to Alcone to get it. And they were like, yes, $20. I was like, oh, $20. How dare you? It's this big. Why? How dare you? But then I realized for $20 for one, it lasts me almost 2 years. Why am I going to be upset over that? But if I had to pay $20 and then $25 to get it shipped to me, I wouldn't have it either. She's too cheap for that. So let's see. Rosemary, you are so welcome. Thank you for being here and suffering with my bad channel. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Monique says, I have the Joe Blascow red neutralizer, but I have not used it yet. Do you just apply a small amount to the red spot? Like a tink, honey. Like a tink, a tink, a tink, a tink. A tink. A tink. A tink. It's like, you see a red spot, you really, sometimes, depending on my brush, I might even use the end of the brush to just go like into the Joe Blascow like this, tink, and go like tink. You don't need, it's so strong. I had a young lady one day, I had a couple people. Sometimes like I do a lot of corporate videos, right? So that means that there's some people who are not used to being in front of the camera. And when I'll say white people because she was white. Mostly white people would break out in these hives. They break out in these red bumps and hives because they're nervous. And I had this one young lady who literally was just about to go on to do her reading or whatever, and she broke out, just like she just turned beet red, and everybody was like, I was off doing something else, and I heard, and I was like, and I ran over. I said, "What's wrong?" And they said, "Look at her neck. Can you do something? Can you do something? Child, I whipped out that Joe Blasco so fast. I whipped that out so fast and dot, 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 wipe, 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 over her, little powder, bang. You couldn't even see it. And she had like raspberry color. You couldn't even see it. You couldn't even see it. And then I think because they, everybody was so panicked about her red neck, like it was like red, that they made her even more nervous. So I feel like the more that they were going, oh my God, are you okay? The more red she was getting. So I think by the time that she saw that I took it completely away, I mean, she just was like, how did you do that? It was Joe Blasco. Ting, 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 ting. And I took a big brush because I was in a hurry. I don't have a big brush to show you, but I took a big, like a brush like, no, I didn't take this. I don't know. Something like a brush like this. See how big this brush is? And I went all over her neck, and then took like a Graftopian face foundation powder. Zip, 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 zip. Done. It was gone. It was all gone. And I think that allowed her to calm down a little bit more. And probably by the time she got to camera, I think she kind of like settled. But that girl broke out in some fierceness, like the color of my glasses. But Joe Blasco took care of it. Rosemary says, please like, share, and subscribe. Yes, for DeShawn's algorithm, please. Thank you very much, Rosemary, because I never ask and I can continually forget. Thank you, my darling. Carlos says, DeShawn, may I ask a question about a specific product? Of course you can, Carlo. That is why we're here. Ask me. Sorry, color theory here. Okay, so what's the question? Both of you have a question on. The young lady who had that question has like double questions. So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go back and read her second question, okay? So I can get it out of the way. You thought green neutralizes red. It does. You're correct. But I know when you look at Joe Blasco, you're like, well, I don't get the color. You'll see it, like when you get it in person, you'll see it against something else. You'll say, I see the green a little bit. And like in his blue neutralizer, you'll see like a fair peachy pink color. But when you look at it like online, you can't, it's hard to tell what you're looking at. It just looks beige, but there's a little tinky tink 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 of green. And then the other one is a little tink 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 of the red peachy color. It's interesting. So now I'm going to answer Cardi Black's other question because I don't want to go off on a tangent. She has two questions. See, she's very smart. She had two questions. She says, I'm also wondering what's the best way to secure a new agent/rep to get larger clients and manage existing new clients. I'm getting very little response from cold emails, despite having a good portfolio, website, and social media presence. Wondering if it's worth carrying. She says, wondering if it's worth carrying on trying to get agencies' attention or just stick to marketing myself. Okay, so she says she has a lot of clients. Oh, the fireworks might be starting. She says she has a lot of clients. She has a great portfolio. She has a great website. She's got it going on, Miss Cardi. So what the hell is the problem? So that's another very good question. So I haven't seen her portfolios. I can't say, but sometimes what could be happening is, let me turn this light down because now it's too bright in here. There we go. She's sweating. What can be happening, Miss Cardi, is that you might be going to the wrong types of agencies. Not every agency wants a celebrity makeup artist. There are agencies that are more editorial driven. So let's say if you had like a million tears of Vogue and a million tears of this, Harper's and all that stuff, then like agencies like a Streeters would be interested in you. But if you have celebrity, then you might want to go to an agency like the Wall Group, who deals with celebrities, Exclusive deals with celebrities, even Celestine deals with celebrities. So you have to figure out what that agency specializes in before you just start calling just to call. And also, it's great to call, but here lately, a lot of agencies don't even have receptionists anymore because of COVID. So that's just something else. It is. I'm working on Assisting Rules 2.0, and I had just done the agency crawl, and we're adding an agency. We're adding an agency. I can't speak today. We're adding an agency section in the new version of Assisting Rules, to update you guys on what's happening post COVID, with these agencies. And I will tell you, sneak peek is that a lot of agencies don't have receptionists. A lot of agencies don't answer the phone anymore. A lot of agencies only want you to email them. There's a lot of new rules that were not there when I originally wrote Assisting Rules. And so Assisting Rules will be coming out in ebook form, and it really will be. I said this 2 years ago, and then I said, but it really is. I have a publisher now. I was self-published, and now I have a publisher. I'm very proud to say, and that publisher is making sure that it's sold all over the world, and it will be sold on Amazon as well, and it will be an ebook. So I did more research this time around in terms of agencies and getting assistance on these agency lists and all that stuff, which will all be put into the new Assisting Rules, along with the film industry and how to land your jobs in there. And I have a little subsection of a subsection for a little bit of bridal and a little bit of salon. It's not very big, so I'm not even going to include it, but include it in the title, but it's in there as well. So Assisting Rules has now gotten about 40 or 50 pages bigger, with a guide in it and everything, and is updated with new information. And since I have a publisher, I have it's all going to get done. So there you go. And I'll let you guys know when it's up and all that stuff, and when it's ready. There might be a giveaway there too. And so that's that. But it just depends on exactly what's in Cardi Black's portfolio. Who is in her portfolio? Just because you have celebrities does not mean that they are the type of celebrities that these agencies want to. No, type of agency that these. I'm trying to say the type of celebrities that these agencies deal with, right? Sometimes you can have like. It's not even about rappers. Sometimes it could be like the WWE. Well, they might be hoity-toity, and we don't do WWE here. You see what I'm saying? Because listen, can we just be truthful? This whole world that we are in, called makeup artistry, okay, and being in fashion and beauty and print and all that stuff, it could be very snobby, it could be very pretentious and hypocritical and full of BS. So you might hit these roadblocks where you go to this agency and you have all these celebrities, but they'll say, well, it's not, you have celebrities, but that's not the kind of celebrities we want. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So let's just be truthful. Okay. So we're not wasting time. I have not reviewed her book. I can't tell you what's in her book. If she's listening, hate to be all black and white, but if it's Black people, and you might want to go to Ken Barbosa. Barbosa is an agency. And by the way, a lot of agencies that I knew back in the day, they're gone. So I can't even, like, off the top of my head, I was just about to tell Cardi to go to another agency, and I was like, no, that's gone. So if I come up with any more, but again, I haven't seen her portfolio. This is just me, off the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. That's all I can tell off the top of my head. But it really does depend on how highfalutin this agency is, how highfalutin her clients are. It's got to be a mesh between all of that. It's got to be a beautiful thing for both parties. There you go. Carlos says, I still am a big fan of matte cream. It was a clear formula, almost a gel. a perfect no color, especially for grooming. Now it's discontinued product. Yeah, I mean, MAC does that a lot. And I find that very annoying. I find that annoying as hell. MAC is, but see, but I'm not a MAC person. Like if MAC got rid of Smolder pencil, listen, I buy Smolder pencils all the time from MAC. Pencils I like. Pencils, the Teddy pencil. I think that's about it. And then I bought somebody had on a red lip one day, and then I'm the red lip queen. I was like, what is that? And she told me it was like, it's not Ruby Woo, it's a pencil that they make, Cherry Bomb or something like that. And I was like, I must have it. And so of course I ran out and brought myself 3. And then I added like 2 to my kit. But I like their pencils a great deal. But all that discontinuing is just, I'm not a fan of the discontinuing things. I don't like it. Do you know of an identical or similar product? I use Face Atelier spray, which is great, but because a filler one. Okay, so you were using it. So you're telling me that you were using the MAC thing as like a primer, and it's a gel primer. I got to think about that, Carlo. I got to think about that. If I come up with one, I have it in the top of my head, but I'm wondering if the company is still functioning. Now I'm not sure. I did have a nice gel. The hell was I using? God, you just stumped me when you said gel. What the hell was I using? Oh my God, Carlo, I'm glad you said something. Listen. You, me, Carlo, listen. That's why I was like, what is he talking about? Listen, Carlo, this is what I use as a primer. Gel. Face Atelier's, get ready, Carlo, gonna blow your mind. Transforming gel. That's what I use. Oh my God, I was like, what do I use? Face Atelier's Transforming Gel I use as a primer. When I see holes, orange peel skin or anything, Face Atelier Transforming Gel. It's a mattifying thing. You're going to be like, what? I know. You're like, what? It's DeShawn. That's for eyeshadow. I know. One day, okay, this is how you discover things, by doing craziness that I do. One day I was in here and first of all, I discovered this, I don't even know now, 10 years ago. I was in here experimenting with makeup, and I think I was experimenting with the eyeshadow, her Transforming Gel, right? And I squoze too much out. It was just too much. I said, I did too much. And then I did this, because it's not going to hurt me. So I just put it on my face. And then I just went about my business. And then I happened to look in the mirror and go, what happened to my face? What happened to my skin? Why does it look so smooth? What is that? What is that on my like I couldn't understand what had happened because I wasn't paying attention. And I said, was it that Transforming Gel that just did that to me? Because it just went, and it's because I really went too far. I really too much. And then I said, but my skin looks amazing. What is that? And then I said, okay, maybe you bugging DeShawn. Try it again another day. I put it on my face and it was like the same thing. I was like, oh my God, it really is a Transforming Gel. And then I use it ever since. So that's why when people ask me what primers do I use, I forget because I use Transforming Gel from Face Atelier. All it is, so you guys understand, it's silicone. It's just a silicone gel, and it just does the most amazing things to skin. And it's not an irritant. Remember, because it's made for eyes. If it's around the eye, you can use it damn near anywhere because this is the most gentle area of our whole face. Child, I put that on, and when I need to go out and I need to look cute, you'll see I go boop, and you only need a little bit, by the way. What I put on was way too much the first time because I just had all over my hands. You like maybe like here, like maybe that much, and you just dot it on and you rub it in, and the skin looks amazing. So that's why when people ask me, I use weird things. I use weird things on people's faces sometimes, like I use the transforming gel. So that's what it is. So you might want, if you have it already, try it just in an inconspicuous space on your face. Just put it on. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed. Wash your face, put it on clean skin. You can even, if you wanted to, moisturize it. I tend not to, because see, I'm oily. I don't tend to moisturize that much in terms of like if I'm about to go out, I try to control my oil as much as I can. But yeah, it's Face Tilia's transforming gel that I use for a primer. There we go. I remember now. So you might want to try that if you can get that in Italy. That might be, yeah, it's amazing. So there we go. I gave you a trade secret. I gave you all a trade secret, so you know. I don't tell everybody that. I tell you. Okay. And then you're going to say, and it's a little thing. It's a little tiny thing. And you're going to be like, but again, you're not going to use that much. It's not like you do what I did. You're not going to squeeze it out. You're going to use very little, and you're just going to put it on. And sometimes I just take sometimes I'll take like this type of brush, and I just and then let it dry, and you will see the skin just, and it's fine for dry skin. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I love it so. I love it so. So beautiful people. I think. Yeah, try that, Carlo. Try that. Who said spice? Just a quickie. Hi, Evie. I didn't see you there. Rosemary, just seeing your spice pencil comment on the same wavelength. Remember Spice Lip Pencil. Okay, so back in the day, before I get off this thing, back in the diggy day, okay, there were these dupes that were going around, right? And that Spice pencil is the same color in Wet n Wild. And Wet n Wild pencil, go to the drugstore, is like Satan. 666. I believe the number was 666. When you go to the drugstore, look for the pencil 666, and it's the same exact color as Max Spice. So it just hit me. So there, I gave you 18,000 different shortcuts today. So there you go. Ria Jones says, I just watched an Instagram video from Jordan Liberty on the same subject about smoothing skin texture. Well, then Maria Jones, you need to share what he said. Okay. I mean, he does use filters, lots of filters. I mean, so I would like to see what it looks like without all the filters, quite frankly. I used to love Wet n Wild, but they are no longer cruelty free. Well, neither is MAC. So there you go. There you go. There you go, people. I don't understand MAC isn't cruelty free either. So there you go. Might as well, you know what I'm saying. So, okay, peeps, I gotta go. Remember, this is summer hours. She ain't staying out here for an hour and a half. This is exactly why I'm not a Mac person. I got you, Evie. I feel you, honey. Evie, please go over to the community board and check the list of names that I have up on there. Please. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get off this thing. Thank you for coming. But I got to go back to the garden, and I got to finish spray painting some chairs. Oh, don't do it. Anyway, since the Lord has left me and there's no more hymnal music happening, I'm going to get off this thing before I have an aneurysm or something. Anyway, peeps, love you all. See you next week. Please make sure you check that community board for the Graftobian Inclusion Palette thank you giveaway. Okay, peeps? Bye. Whatever I wrote to you, I wrote to you, Rosemary, on the comments. So just go look at your comments and you'll see I answered you. Okay, peeps, I'm out of here. Have a good night. Bye.